Bismillah wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. Peace and blessings on you. We are here in the only place in Mahalapye that matters, which is Madiba. And if you ever come here, you'll know why. We are all masked up, and that's for a good reason, because there's still a pandemic running around. And in the interest of safety, we have tried to do social distancing, myself and my brother Teezy, who needs no introduction. But we are having our masks, and as you can see, I have my special, the scholar and the student mask over there. I got it specially done in Mahalapye. If you guys are interested in seeing more scholar and the student merch, let us know in the comments down below, so then we'll make that happen, and you'll be able to support us directly like that. But anyway, Teezy, brother, welcome back to the show. How are you feeling today, bro?
Yeah, man, I'm awesome. I'm feeling great. Yeah, you know the usual. You know me, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. We take it easy. Doing this on a Sunday afternoon, just taking it easy as usual.
Yes.
Taking it,
You have to, man.
yeah, one day at a time. And this isn't the first thing that we did today. Teezy and I were involved in some very secret practices earlier today. Maybe by the time this is actually uploaded, you'll know what that is.
Oh, yes.
But
Wait on it.
yeah, I guess so. Just wait on it. If you haven't checked it out, we'll leave the links to Kahawa visuals and all those other pages down in the description box below. But yeah, Teezy, thank you for taking your time out to come back onto the show. It's an honor to collaborate with someone who has been in the creative game for such a long time. You know, to come to this beautiful yard of yours where
Thank you.
our background music is, maybe you guys can hear it if you've got good quality headphones, the natural background music provided by God, which is birdsong.
Yes.
So, you know, I've been listening to some podcasts where they have like a beat playing as they're actually talking. So I guess people don't get bored. So
Yeah.
my approach is a bit different, but at least today we've got some natural beats playing in the background
Exactly.
with the birds, you know, dropping down some tracks over there. So it is what it is. But Teezy, welcome back, and let's start off with this question that we kind of alluded to in our previous interview, which was last year. Do you think that the previous generation, our parents' generation, does enough to support young people in their artistic endeavors? Because when you're getting good marks in school, everyone loves you. Everyone is supporting you. But what about when someone says that, you know, I may not be the best mathematician, but I want to focus on my poetry? Do you think that our parents' generation does enough for that?
Man, first of all, they don't even see the value of the arts, you know, of anything besides school and get a job. What you call it? Get
A career.
9 to 5.
Yeah.
You know, that's all they know. That's the only route to success for them. You know, so for them to even let alone support you and try to get into your world is impossible. So of course they're not doing enough. But obviously not every parent, just like not every guy cheats or every girl is a, you know. So yeah, man. So not every parent is like that, but most parents don't do enough at all. You know.
So what can we do, since we are getting to that stage slowly but surely, where one day we might become parents? There's like what, a more than 90% chance of that happening. I mean, provided nothing else happens, we pray that it happens correctly.
It'll definitely happen.
Yeah, but what should we then do, since we are getting to that stage, to prevent ourselves from falling into the same traps that our parents fell into? And how can we support our children better?
First of all, we gotta take away the ego, man. We gotta take away the ego of that expectation of the moment your child is born, you already feel like he's gonna be a doctor or he's gonna follow in your footsteps. You know, we gotta take away that ego as a parent and let our child and see what our child grows into. Of course, with your guidance, and you gotta guide them from your perspective as a parent, but only the good things. Don't let as long as the ego doesn't come in. You know, don't let the ego come in between what's right and what's wrong in terms of raising your child and letting them express themselves freely.
So let me drop a bomb of controversy on you. What if your child says that they believe that they've been born into the wrong gender? Then what do you do? Because they are trying to, that is kind of self-expression, I guess.
Yeah, straight.
But then you might not be in favor of that because of whatever beliefs that you have.
Most definitely.
So how do you then navigate this challenge that has been brought before you?
That is a good question. Man. I don't know. Obviously it'll be hard. But you know, time heals all things. As a parent, I should obviously handle it in a mature way. I should be mature and be calm, as he's telling me, and of course accepted at that time. And I know it's easy saying it now. Everyone is saying bullshit. Bull. I don't know if I can say that on. Yeah, but but I'll try my best to be as calm as possible and as understanding as possible. Unlike saying no, period. I'll take let time will decide my reaction. Let me just say that.
Okay, so you're willing to have a conversation, not necessarily just about what I've mentioned now, but you're willing to have a conversation in general with your future children, with people. And I believe that's a very important approach in navigating anything. Too often, parents are just like, don't do this and don't question me. But the thing is, kids have so much access to many different viewpoints, many different avenues of information. They are learning so many things from school, from their friends, from the internet. So it's as if the parents are trying to box them into just one thing. But that's an approach that's just set up for failure at the end of the day.
Exactly.
So I like your approach that we should actually sit down with our kids and have conversations about it, even if it's something that we vehemently disagree with. Like, for example, in my case, I'm not saying that like it's prohibited in Islam or anything. I don't have the authority to say that. But things like smoking, I may not be 100% in favor of that. But if my child, okay, obviously if he's doing it, if he's under the age of 10, now that's a big, like, I'm sure there's some laws being broken.
It's not even legal.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Yeah.
I mean, there it's a different situation. But like, let's say he's 16, 17, 18.
That
he-
ass whooping.
yeah. Let's say he's at that age,
Yeah.
and now he has decided that he wants to become a smoker for the rest of his life, or whatever. I don't think people just smoke for 2 years and give it up. I've never heard of that. But anyway,
Yeah.
so I'll be willing to say that, listen, I don't necessarily agree with this because of health reasons, blah, 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 blah. But I'll just put my cup of tea in front of you, and then it's up to you whether you want to drink it or not.
Exactly.
And then we move on from there. Absolutely.
You
I
wash
mean,
your hands, man. You wash your hands.
yeah, absolutely. And
It's
that's
important.
That's very prompt. When our children are actually watching this, they'll say this is so appropriate because in the year that we're recording this, which is 2020, it's going to go down as the year of the pandemic. But speaking of this pandemic, Teezy, how has this year been in overall for you? As the time of this recording, it's almost the end of the year of 2020. It's been a wild ride. Let's keep it at that. Personally speaking, and also on a broader, more global scale, I was able to break a lot of boundaries and so on and so forth. But why don't you tell us a bit more about your perspective, Teezy?
Man, COVID-19. This pandemic destroyed everything for me, man. Personally, as an artist, it just rocked my world, So everything stopped. Performances, I can't perform. I can't go to shows and present because I have to host shows. I can't even do it, So everything has just stopped. If we're gonna make a show, it's a limited number. I can't see my family members. I can't move around as much as I can to make money. So, man, and I'm sure every artist, not even artist, businessman, family man, your ordinary man can understand it. So, yeah, it was really,
So how comfortable are you with the saying that this might be our new normal? Maybe things will get better, obviously, as time goes on, but there are elements that we used or that we got used to in this year that are going to stay with us forever and ever. For example, more video conferences, more concerts online. A lot of artists I've been seeing have been doing online concerts where they just stream the thing on YouTube and all that kind of stuff. So how comfortable are you with these changes as an artist, number one? And number two, would you be willing to try some of these out yourself? I'm speaking from the perspective of being in Mahalapye or being in Botswana, where most people, if they don't have Wi-Fi, then they're using data for internet, and with that obviously YouTube is out of the question. So what is your approach to things such as this in the technological age?
So the first question was in terms of the new normal, right?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
The new normal, first of all, how are we gonna get intimate with our women? That's my problem. This mask is not working out, Moss. I mean, I'm sick and tired of this mask, first of all. Walking around in public with it. And yeah, but in terms of technology, I feel like it's forcing the people to really to go into technology, in terms of working online, making deals online, especially since I'm from Africa, we're in Africa. The African people, not saying they don't know any technology, don't get me wrong. African people are the future, we are the future. But it's forcing us now to not actually, use the olden routes in terms of traveling all the way to another place to set a deal. you know, we have to use technology now. It's forcing us to see that technology is the future. You dig?
And it's not just Africa, to be honest. A lot
Yeah.
of businesses, a lot of places,
Mhm.
even in places like the UK,
Yeah.
they had not digitized their services for so long, and they're like, kantele, we'll do it when it happens
Yeah.
one day. And then this year, everyone was just forced, like there was no choice given. It's either you do this or you die as a business.
Hey.
So, in that way, would you say that COVID has been a force for good? Has been a force of driving some positive change? Yes, we are saying we empathize with people who have lost their lives, who are infected, who are affected, all of that. Yes, we're not saying that we're happy at the fact that people have been suffering, but it has forced us to kind of put the whole world on pause and say, hey, maybe what we have been doing for all these years as a human civilization, not just Africans or Europeans, but the whole human race, we've been messing up this planet. So now we have been given this moment of pause. They press the pause button by force on everything. Now it's a chance for us to think about what we've been doing and see how we can change our actions for the future. Would you say it's a force for good in that regard?
Very good. Mother Nature is fighting back, man. I feel like it's about time. It's about time Mother Nature, you know, humbles us. I mean, we're so money driven. The human race is so money driven, and that we don't care about our environment anymore. So I feel like this was also a warning sign. You know, I don't know if it's from Mother Nature or the gods, but it was a warning that obviously they took serious. Everyone has no, you know, well, everybody's scared and nervous, wondering what's going on. And this extreme heat also is like hot, you know? It's cold, extreme, it's either very cold or very hot. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, Mother Nature is telling us to stop. So I hope these huge corporations listen, you know, polluting the air and the ground and, you know, yeah.
Yeah, I hope everyone takes a lesson and everyone has had the opportunity to basically pause and reflect and have a resolution of how they're going to or might want to do things differently once we go back to being a bit more normal, if I can use that terminology. And he spoke about nature and how it's so great to once again reconnect with nature. I feel that's why I prefer Madiba to any other place in Mahalapye. There's also another secret about Madiba, but it's a secret for a reason. But yeah,
No snitching.
yeah, no spoilers yet. But anyway, so speaking of nature, yes, it's great to be in nature. It's great to listen to the bird song as we are doing now, recording a podcast just outside the house so we can get a bit more nature soaked into us, looking at the greenery. But then at the same time, this is kind of a paradox with a lot of things. Like, for example, we campaign for anti-colonialism, and rightfully so, that we must decolonize our mind. We shouldn't just be forced to conform to the standards of white men who came into our countries forcefully and so on and so forth. But at the same time, we speak English, and we love speaking English. You make music in English, I write poetry in English, I write books in English. So do you think this is a bit of a contradiction? Because as much as I acknowledge that colonialism was bad, I can't let go of the fact that English is my first language. I mean, I speak Setswana as well, just like you. But then I also have a love for the English language. I studied it for so long, it's my first language. So things such as this, I mean, talking about Mother Nature, yeah, we love nature, but we're not going to let go of our TVs and our phones and our cars and these things because we need them. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars in your yard right now. That's quite a lot. Maybe more than the average person in Botswana.
You gonna send out some thieves to my house, man?
Yeah, well,
They only two.
yeah, take from there what you will. Take from there what you will.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what do you think of these contradictions? That yes, we will campaign for something, but that doesn't mean that you have to be like an extreme hippie sort of guy. Like you just talked about nature and the importance of nature and how we must give more of a focus to nature. But then we're not going to become like, I don't know, wearing loin skins and sitting on a tree all day and hunting and gathering because we've progressed as a civilization. So what do you think about this inherent contradiction that we kind of face going through life?
Yeah, man. It's just like that. I feel like English is a universal. It's a universal. It's a universal language, man. I mean, we don't have a choice. We have to know English, but let's not make it the only, language we're gonna use. I mean, we have to take pride in ourselves where we come from and who we are. So we can use English to make money because that's the money language worldwide, and still knowing our roots. As long as you know your roots, that's what I'm stressing. As long as you know your roots, just keep it going. If it's necessary to speak English, speak English. If it's necessary to speak your native language, do so.
Absolutely. And just because you know your roots doesn't mean you necessarily condone everything about your ancestors. For example, maybe you find out your ancestors were themselves the colonialists, or you find out your ancestors were rapers and pillagers and all those kind of things. I mean, yeah, you know where you came from, but that allows you the freedom to pick and choose that, yes, my ancestors were not the greatest of people, so I'm not going to stress that. But I will stress on the other virtues that they did leave behind. That's my personal approach to it.
Everything has advantages and disadvantages.
Absolutely. And a lot of people just get offended when I say things like this, but what's new? So they get offended at the fact that I don't advocate for wholesale taking everything, because we started off on this note about how there's kind of a divide between our generation and our parents' generation, how we see things slightly differently. So I don't think that's inherently bad. It's just that we are different. It's not a matter of black versus white or good versus bad. It's just a matter of two different perspectives going in two different directions. And there's no need to necessarily fight about that. How do you think we can foster more intelligent conversations such as these and have more room for people to disagree? You can say, I love this, and I say, well, personally I don't, but I respect your right to do that, your right to love whatever that is.
That's the recipe, Moss. That's the recipe to peace in the world. Every war, literally, I believe every war, literally, that has ever happened in history was caused by a difference in perspective. Period. Imagine if what you just said right now, if everyone really understood what you just said in terms of, okay, you think this way, I respect you, as long as you're not killing anyone or breaking the law, I respect your perspective and what you're doing. The world will be far. We're not doing anything, no disrespect, but the world will be far. If everyone really had that respect, and I saw you as a god, I saw myself as a god, the world will be far.
Now, what do you mean by seeing people as gods, though?
You're a god yourself. You are made in the image of God, but you can create. You can create your future and your past. You are your own God, not in terms of in an arrogant way.
Not in terms of worship.
Yes, not in terms of worship, but you create your own reality like a God. You make your own decision. You have free will like a God.
Free will.
Stuff like that. I don't want to go too deep, but I guess you understand what I'm saying.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah, I mean,
you're
I guess
responsible for your own.
Absolutely, you have that much of control over your fate, if I will. I mean,
Yeah.
that you have the freedom to do certain actions, and this can open a new philosophical debate and all those things that you can study for hours and hours and hours on. But yeah, I think I got your point that we do have that element of free will, and we do have the ability to do certain actions. And myself as a Muslim, I put my trust in Allah, in God. And then, but you see, we have been taught in Islam that you put your trust in God and then you tie your camel, meaning you do whatever it is you have to do in the world. So if that means that you want to be the best in your field, that means you have to work to get to the best. And of course, at the end of the day,
believe.
Yeah, absolutely, believe it. And of course, have that trust in God and all those excellent things.
You can't do anything without God.
Absolutely.
But God will also want you to have that self-confidence. Not in terms of testing and saying God has it, God will help, God will know. But God will only take you so far. He wants you to also help yourself, for God to help you. Not saying He can't help you, but that's not how it works.
Yeah,
that's why you have free will.
I mean, there's that saying, God helps those who help themselves.
Exactly.
So you can take one step. You want to take 10,000 steps. So you have to show that you are actually willing to take at least, if not the full 10,000, at least one, at least 100, at least 1,000. And whatever you are failing to do when you reach your human limit, that's when you unlock ultra instinct. But yeah, I was gonna say, when you get to your limit, that's when you can ask God. Or actually, you know what? I think I'm phrasing it wrongly. When you get to your limit, you trust that God will take you to the end line, to the finish line.
Yes.
But you are trusting God the whole time, and at the same time, you are taking whatever little actions you could from your own perspective.
Yes.
Well, this has been a very interesting episode, Teezy, and we started with parents and generational divides. We talked about art. We talked about a bit of philosophy here and there. Are there any parting words you have for our viewers, our listeners out there?
Well, not much. Like I always say, man, every time I talk to my friends, my family members, believe in yourself, trust in yourself, put God first, and just have a vision and just keep at it. Trust, and you can't do anything if you don't believe in yourself, so believe in yourself. Yeah, that's it.
Cool. And you mentioned your own kind of alluded to it, your relationship with God and so on and so forth. Are you comfortable telling the viewers and the listeners a bit more about that? I'm curious, as a Muslim, I've got my perspective about God and my relationship with Him, and yeah, I think people will dispute me on that because of X, Y, and Z, and certain episodes I've done in the past. Yeah, Sheikh Ismail Kamda, you're watching this. I know that you were kind of the reason for me getting blacklisted with certain members of the Muslim community, but it's not like I care. I know what he was on about. I know what was going to happen the moment I started this podcast.
Most you have a vision, stick to it.
Absolutely.
Well, whoever or whatever tries to come between it or doesn't understand it, don't let it bother you too much. Just keep moving.
Absolutely. Anyway, going back to the question, are you willing to tell us more about your personal relationship with God, like how it looks, how it works in a day-to-day life? What is it? Because it's actually Sunday right now and Teezy is not at church. He decided to bunk church to record stuff with a Muslim guy. So, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell us more about your relationship.
Like they say, first of all, on that I bunk church, if 2 people or 3 are are meeting to discuss God, it's a church in itself. So first of all, we're in church right now. Yeah, and I come from a Christian family, So obviously, I believe I was brought up to believe in God, and then as I came of age and to my own understanding, I studied, and then I got it, and it made sense to me, like what created all this around us, a tree. The thing is, science makes everything seem easy. They told us that's a tree, so we believe it's a tree. They told us that those are clouds, and so since if you put a title on something, it's defined, even though you really don't know what it is. So I feel like because of that, people are underestimating. That's why people have doubts that God even exists, because everything feels normal to them, and they be told what it is, which is probably not even that. I don't know if you get what I'm saying.
I think I do, because what you're saying is that it's not against reason, or it's not against someone's intellect to believe in God. And what you're talking about, like the trees and the clouds, this is what they call, in scientific terms, it's the intelligent design theory. That if you look at things around us and the universe itself, all the planets, all the stars, and you can see that there's some design to that. And if something is designed, there has to be a designer, especially when the design is intelligent. Like the mic, the pop filters, the laptop I'm using right now, all these things, they've got a design to them. I mean, if you were walking in the middle of the Kalahari desert and you saw this laptop there, I mean, are you going to believe? I'm not, dissing anyone's belief or their lack of belief for that matter. But the reasonable assumption is that there was someone who had this laptop, and then he might have dropped it in the desert. That is the first reasonable belief, as opposed to believing that the sand in the desert reacted for so many millions of years, and then the laptop was made exactly like it looks right now.
Exactly. It's basically theory, I feel like it's all just assumptions.
Yeah.
And science is based off assumptions.
Well, you see, science is based off of induction. Induction is like things that you see, things that you hear, things that you can perceive, and you can put under the microscope and study them. So obviously that means that there are things that you haven't had access to because of technological weaknesses, or because theories can be wrong sometimes. I mean, this has happened so many times in science. And by the way, if there's anyone in the viewers and the listeners who wishes to challenge us on these assumptions, we're more than willing to have a discussion on these sorts of topics as well. Or I can even get you in contact with some actual scholars, not me. I never claimed to be a scholar, but anyway. So people who are...
A wise man knows nothing.
Absolutely. So it's always interesting to have these sorts of debates. But yeah, I hope I didn't come across as arrogant towards people who believe in something else, or who have a lack of belief for that matter. I actually have some friends who don't believe in God. They are atheists. Well, it's actually debatable what that term even means in their perspective. There's a difference between not believing that a creator exists, and there's a difference between that and having an issue with organized religion. So yeah, I feel a lot of people today have an issue with organized religion. Like they don't like being controlled and being told what to do 24/7, but they are not opposed to the idea of believing that God exists. In fact, if anything, if you present to them the image of an all-loving, all-merciful God who is not so concerned about the fact that you grew your hair so much and you tied it up like that, I mean, hey, all you haramis out there screaming that this is like wrong in Islam, bro, I can give you examples of luminaries in Islamic history, or at least I know scholars who can give you those examples, who had their hair tied, who had their hair braided, who wore earrings and all those kinds of things.
But that's where I met actually as an individual in terms of God. There's a difference between spirituality and religion. People, I think, are attracted more to spirituality. And I feel like God lost his popularity with people because of how his message is preached to the younger people. The younger people don't want to be aggressively told not to do something their instinct tells them to do. You have to really cushion them into that, and then it's up to them if they want to take it or not. But if you're coming to them like, take this is what it is, like it or not, I don't think God wants that. God wants you to understand where he's coming from and then take it from there. You as a person will take it from there, whether you're going to take it or not.
Yeah, in other words, there's a way to speak to people. You have to
approach.
Yeah, you have to look at their perspective in life. I mean, if someone's just lost someone close to them, they just need time to grieve. They don't want to go to the church or the mosque right now, right? Because they are in an emotional wreck right now, or at least they seem to be. But anyway, very interesting topic once again about your relationship with God. Is there any parting thing you want to say about that?
Check out my page on all social media platforms. Facebook, Teezy K. I'm Teezy K on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all social media platforms. Check out Kahawa Visuals. We do comedy. We bring that awesome funny. Yeah, so check us out there on Facebook, and just keep liking, keep sharing. Thanks for the support. Yeah.
Absolutely, and be sure to do the same with us, the scholar and the student. Last season on Facebook Watch anyway, my episode with Kahawa Entertainment, which was Teezy and his cousin, it was the most viewed, and until this day, I believe, as of this recording, it is my most viewed video on Facebook Watch. I mean, it's not doing as good as your videos, because we have a long way to go, but we'll get there slowly.
We told you to come to, we should work more. And
yeah, absolutely.
But we're working on what is happening. It's just this is the start.
Yeah, I mean, we all start somewhere, and I think for me personally, it's more about getting my content out there than actually chasing likes and shares and all those things out there. I mean, I'd rather do this because I love doing it. Yeah, absolutely, than just being popular on social media. I mean, look at Facebook. How many people are actually on Facebook now? It's kind of died a death, to be honest. Most people are now, they want their Instagrams,
Twitter.
And, well, Twitter as well, I guess. Although, okay, I try to avoid Twitter because it can be such cancer at times. But hey, we are on Twitter as well, SNS Pod BW. We are on all those places, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and on Ko-fi, that's ko-fi.com/SNSPodBW, if you wish to make a one-time donation of just $3, that's like 30 pula or 40 pula, whatever the exchange rate is. Just one-time donation you want to make to us, more than welcome on Ko-fi. If you want to subscribe to our Patreon and get exclusive benefits, that's patreon.com/SNSPodBW, as it is spelt on all the other social media platforms. Join us on one of our tiers and get exclusive access to our episodes 1 full week before they are released for free to the general public, and many, many other rewards. We hope you enjoyed this episode. There'll be many, many more to come, not just with Teezy, but other people, and we hope that everyone is doing well out there during this pandemic. We send you, and we end this podcast with the message of peace from the beautiful, peaceful place in Madiba, which is a place in Mahalapye. Until next time, peace out. Assalamu alaikum. Well, you reached the end. Well done. I guess I'll give you a little bit of a prize by reminding you to like, share and subscribe to our relevant channels. Follow us on all our social media platforms. If you're using Apple Podcasts, do leave us a 5-star rating. And if you think we've earned it, we'd appreciate a one-time donation on Ko-fi or a longer pledge on Patreon. Until next time, stay blessed. Assalamu alaikum.